One party in America that opposes verifying signatures, citizenship, residency, eligibility. There is only one party in America trying to keep observers out of the count room. And that party, my friends, is the Democrat Party. You don't take these positions because you want an honest election. You don't oppose an audit of the vote because you want an accurate count. You don't oppose our efforts at sunlight and transparency because you have nothing to hide. You take these positions because you are welcoming fraud and you are welcoming illegal voting. Our position is clear. We want to protect the franchise of the American people. We want an honest, accurate, lawful count. We want maximum sunlight. We want maximum transparency. We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be...
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do have something to back that up, but that's an explosive charge to make, that the other side is effectively rigging and cheating. If she does bring proof of that, of course, we'll take you back. So far, she has started saying right at the outset, welcoming fraud, welcoming illegal voting. Not so fast. We'll have more after this.
If you were wondering whether it was possible to lie too much for Fox News, apparently you can. For what I believe was the first time ever, Fox cut off Kayleigh McEnany as she joins the rest of the Trump campaign in refusing to concede the election, and instead pretending that there was some widespread voter fraud effort. So that we're clear, they presented zero evidence whatsoever, which is generally something you might think would be important if you're claiming that millions of votes were cast illegally or that Republican officials were blocked from overseeing the counting of ballots. And by the way, this is a claim that's coming all the way from the top, from as early as November 3rd, when Trump arbitrarily declared victory just because he felt like it.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. We did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list, okay? It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment.
And it continued in the days after, baselessly echoing the same claims with zero evidence.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. If you count the votes that came in late, we're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. To name just a few, we won these and many other victories despite historic election interference from big media, big money, and big tech.
Here's the thing. The way you know that this entire scheme is complete BS is that when the Trump campaign took this very issue to court in Philadelphia, the judge asked the campaign if they had any officials in the room while ballots were being counted, to which the campaign replied that they did, at which point the judge dismissed the case. In other words, they showed their entire hand and undermined their own disinformation effort. As for this idea that illegal ballots are being counted, again, they presented this without a shred of evidence. But while there isn't proof of that claim, what we do have proof of is that this is what Trump does. Look no further than Trump's tweet about Ted Cruz in 2016. He wrote, "Based on the fraud committed by Senator Ted Cruz during the Iowa caucus, either a new election should take place or the Cruz results nullified." He even went on to claim fraud in the 2016 election, an election that he won, claiming that 3 to 5 million undocumented immigrants voted. He even assembled a voter fraud commission, which found literally nothing. And so this is Trump's only trick. When votes aren't cast for him, then they can't possibly be valid. Convenient, huh? And just today, Attorney General Bill Barr has authorized the Department of Justice to investigate, quote, substantial allegations of voting irregularities. The only problem, once again, is that there isn't any evidence of these irregularities. But Bill Barr is as corrupt as he is partisan. And so, of course, he'd use the power of what's supposed to be an independent agency to act as Trump's personal Justice Department. Here's the thing about Trump's claims of fraud. If there was actually fraud in this election, if Democrats truly did rig the election, then we rigged it so we would lose seats in the House? We rigged it so that we would fail to take the Senate? We rigged it so that we would lose state legislatures? We went through all the trouble of rigging an election, but forgot to rig it so that we'd win any races that would actually make enacting Biden's agenda possible. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. In reality, the fact is why this hurts Trump so much is because it wasn't a repudiation of the entire Republican Party, it was a repudiation of him and him alone. It was Donald Trump who the voters rejected. But because he can't handle such a blow to his very, very delicate ego, he'd rather continue the charade of pretending that there was fraud. He'd rather convince half the country not to trust the most core tenet of our democracy, our free and fair elections. He doesn't care what he has to burn down because Donald Trump doesn't care about the country, he's only looking out for himself. There's also another reason why he's keeping this scheme going, and that's because he's able to fundraise off of it. On an almost hourly basis, every single day, the Trump campaign has been emailing its supporters demanding money to go to his election defense fund. If Trump were to actually grow up and concede the race, then the grift would be over. So he keeps crying foul and getting his mouthpieces to do the same, and then they sit back and watch the suckers that they're emailing for money empty their wallets. This is about squeezing whatever last dollars they can out of their supporters before they're finally escorted off of the White House premises. Bear in mind too, that if you actually read the fine print of these emails demanding money, you'd see that at least half of any donation can go toward paying down debt for Trump's campaign. And if those emails come from the Trump Make America Great Again committee, then 60% of the contributions will go toward campaign debt, while 40% go to the RNC, meaning the campaign is broke and his supporters are helping retire that debt. Once again, another Trump entity is bankrupt and they're looking to get bailed out. Same story, different day. The point is that whether this is a money-making operation, a way to help a very fragile Donald Trump salvage his reputation, or if they truly are intent on overturning the results of this decisive election, they're going to fail. Neither Trump nor his band of lackeys have any say in certifying the results of this election. The states do. And they will count the votes and certify the results, and Joe Biden will take office on January 20th as the 46th president of the United States. And if Trump needs to be dragged out of the White House by the Secret Service, then that's exactly what's going to happen. If you like this video, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deep dive into the week's most important stories and interview major players in politics, including Kamala Harris, Katie Porter, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Eric Swalwell, Mary Trump, Al Franken, Cory Booker, and many, many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.